Okay, good evening, everyone. You are welcome to tonight's session on Top Club. And first and foremost, I want to be sure if anyone can hear me. I want to be sure if anyone can hear me. You are welcome to tonight's session. And tonight we'll be talking about discovering your true self. Discovering your true self. So if anyone can hear me, just let me know in the comment section. It's going to be very a great session tonight, and we have our speaker for tonight, the one and only Paul Adeagbo. He'll be teaching us how we can choose the right career path. And it's very important because career is a very important part of our life. It talks about our path in life, our life's work, and you must know that choosing a right career can really like affect the trajectory of your life. That means how the your life direction will go. So we must be very cautious. We must pay rapt attention in choosing that career because we are going to spend the major part of our life living whatever we choose. So tonight's session, Polade Agbo is a career coach and is going to be teaching you how you can choose that career path that will lead to fulfillment and will lead to uh, meaning, okay, that will make your life significant. So it's already here with us this evening, but I would like to know if you can hear me. I'd like to know if anyone can hear me. I would like to know if anyone can hear me. So if you can see me, if you can hear me, just let me know in the comment section. Just drop it. If you can see me, if you can hear me, I'm here to get any response. All right, but without wasting time, we've taken some time already. I'll just bring on our guest for tonight. Okay. Okay. Good
Good
evening.
evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr.
Thank you
Mordecai.
very
Thank you
much.
very much
Thank you
for
very much.
bringing. Yeah,
So thank
thank
you
you
very
very
much
much
for
for
coming on
bringing
board.
me on this platform. Yeah, it's a great joy and privilege to be a part of what you are doing. Of course, touching young lives, making impressions on young minds is something I I do not take for granted. Of course, moving them in the right direction is something I want to do. So looking at what you
Mm.
do with teenagers and youth, I've been saying it. I celebrate all that you do, and you bringing me on board to come and speak on your platform is not a small feat. So thank you
Thank
very
you very
very
much.
much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for coming on board. And
Yeah,
before we continue tonight's session, like I just want to, okay, they can hear me, great. Mr. Stephen Edward, great. They can hear me. So before we continue tonight's session, I want to just read your a short bio, your short bio. But I've shared it on the group already. So I'm sure if you are on Top Club, I'm sure you've read. You see how long it is. You see, it's loaded. All right. So very quickly, I'll just give a snippet from what I posted on the group. All right. Sandra says she's glad to be here. Okay, so Paul Adeagbo is a career coach and the CEO of Mindshift Consulting Limited. He helps young professionals get ahead in their careers so they can access opportunities to meet their career goals. He's also the author of Interview Like a Pro, a great book I want each and every one of us to get, okay? A book that guides you on the answer to interview tough questions and salary negotiations, all right? As a speaker, he has spoken on several platforms, including Pan African Youth Conference, inspiring individuals to live out their fullest potential and achieve their loftiest goals. So it's very great to have this great man, an amazing man. I met him for the first time some weeks ago. I remember doing a conference. I don't know which of the conferences I
yes.
met you. Okay, I've been following his work
Um,
online. I've been seeing how he talk about career. Which one? Can you remember? Is it a 360
yeah,
Youth
the
conference,
one.
right? Is it like
Yes, 360 Youth Conference.
great, great, great.
Yes,
So it
three.
was a great time. I've been seeing him online. Like I see his work, I see his passion to guide people as regards the career, and he posts questions, answers, and all those things. So I'm really inspired by what you do. Okay, I'm challenged. Okay, like it
Thank you very
inspired me to even do more. All right.
much.
So I want to use this opportunity that
Thank
you
you
keep
very
up the
much,
great work.
sir.
Okay, don't stop, sir. Keep up the great work. Yeah, we are watching and we are inspired by your journey. So tonight we'll be talking. First and foremost, let me thank my one of my mentors, Mr. Stephen Edward. Thank you for joining us this evening. I really appreciate, sir. I
Wow.
really appreciate, sir.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you for joining.
Okay. Yeah. So tonight we'll be talking about choosing the right career path. And Mr. Paul, I've told you my story already about how I went to study engineering, and my mission, my purpose for really studying that engineering is because I have about three uncles who are engineers, and they are earning big money. They are working, one is working in oil company, one is working. So I would just say, I don't want to be poor in this life. I was just 16 or 15 when I finished secondary school. So I say, okay, I start forcing myself to jump
Interesting.
engineering. I start forcing myself. I
Wow.
had to start memorizing mathematics. I had to start doing all those things just to study, but with the wrong motive. And that's what most young people are facing now.
Hmm.
They are doing things for the wrong. Maybe their parents
That's
told them to
true.
do something. Maybe because of what is trending, they
Mm-hmm.
are going for it. And after five
Mm-hmm.
years studying in the university, and then I discovered myself. What I'm doing now is just in line with what I'm born to do. I went to coaching, I went to
Mm.
speaking, writing, author, and everything. So I don't want young people to spend that time, waste their life first
Exactly.
before then discovering themselves.
Exactly.
And that's why I want you to
Exactly.
just shed light on this topic tonight.
Thank you very much once again. I must say that I'm glad to be here for so many reasons. But of course, since you have gone in the direction of what you've seen me do, I must also I'm not saying that I'm not saying what I'm about to say because I need to say it. I'm not saying it because when you get invited on platforms, you just need to say something sweet about the person who invited. No, that's not why I'm saying what I'm about to say. I am saying this because I am truly inspired. If you remember, one of the first things I said to you when we first met physically after seeing one another on Uncle Mark's street, the first thing I said to you is that I'm inspired by what you do traveling across Nigeria, touching the lives of young ones, teens and youth across Nigeria. And of course, I just announced some minutes ago that of course I've also taken on the baton to travel across Nigerian universities to preach this gospel of career. It is important that we all get it right. Now, I am saying that because undergraduates, before you graduate, you must get on this journey for self-discovery. It is really important. It is really, really important. Really important. Not just because we want you to do something. No, whatever we are telling you about self-discovery, first of all, the first word there is about self. It's for you and not for the other person. Self-discovery is really, really significant. You heard from his story how he studied engineering 5 years, 5 years of studying engineering. I don't know if he attended a public funded institution. If he attended a state or federal institution with industrial actions of what we call the ASU strike, maybe he probably elongated it beyond 5 years. But now look at time as a resource. He spent 5 years. Look at the cost of studying, the school fees, the acceptance fee, the cost
Mm.
registrations, the textbooks he bought, the travel expense from where you live to where you schooled. Look at the number of drugs he bought while he felt sick. Look at
Mm.
just imagine the 5 years, all the money put together that was spent on his tertiary institution. What if that money was spent on what he is currently doing now? I am not I, I'm not trying to discredit the fact that he's a graduate or trying to or trying to make him feel less of himself. No, I'm just asking everyone listening to me a simple question. Why spend money and time in the wrong direction, only waiting for you to get to the end of the road before you discover that you are on a wrong path? Isn't it good enough for you to start with the right speed, with all the resources you need in the right direction? I think the latter is more profitable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Let me stop using Mr. Monica as an example because you invited me. Let me use another example that we know. I don't know, but I want to assume that everyone listening to me should know Fouls. Fouls the bad guy.
Yes.
That's his stage name.
Mm.
I'm sure you know that Fouls studied law, first degree, studied law, second degree outside Nigeria.
Wow.
He came back to Nigeria and he's not doing anything anything law related. Now he's doing music. He's into entertainment full time. He started with music. Now he's into movies. And that's entertainment. I think there was one time I saw him doing seeing events, hosting as in hosting events. That's entertainment. What would have happened if that money spent on law for first and second degree was spent on entertainment? Was invested into it? Doesn't I'm not saying necessarily has to be a degree program, but I'm just saying that money and the time. What if it was an investment into the direction he naturally want to go into? I don't know. Now, while we while we are still on this music and entertainment, let me tell you one of the leading factors why it seems that the West, first world countries, seems to dominate Nigerians. Sorry, not just Nigerians, third world nations, Africa in general, and Nigeria to be precise. Why they seem to dominate, no matter what we do, only very few Africans, if we don't change our game, only very few Africans will win the Grammy Award. It's not because of
Mm.
racism. Only a very few will win. And what's the name of this award for movie makers? I can't remember. This award they get for those who make I really can't remember.
The global
Grammys
award.
for music. Yes, a global award. Grammys for music. The one for movies, where Will Smith made this
Okay,
thing
okay.
on in the
I can't
last.
remember the name. I can't remember the
Yeah,
name.
but then I think everybody should understand what I'm saying right now. One of the reasons why we will keep having few citizens from third world nations in that limelight is not because of racism. It's because the parents of those folks invested in the right direction from a very tender age. They saw the way a particular child was behaving when he hears reading, when he hears sounds. They see, no, there is something about the way this guy reacts. What about those who do bodybuilding? What about Messi? Some weeks ago, after the World Cup, people started digging the history of Lionel Messi, and we saw that he started he got into football at a very young age. Now, I am saying that age, time as a resource, is one of the investments that these people use as an advantage over us in Africa.
Mm.
Let me ask everybody listening to me, at age 10, what were you doing? At age 10? No, like you don't need to answer this question in the comment section, but ask yourself, what were you doing at age 10? The first world nations, what are they doing for their kids at age 10? Let me give a very familiar example. I don't know, but I think most Nigerians should be able to relate. As children, when we were told that you don't talk to adults, you don't look adults into the eye and talk to them. How
Mm.
many people can relate to that instruction, to that culture? That's nonsense. At a very tender age, you're already affecting a child's communication ability. That's me and my parents, or me and extended family members. I can't to an adult. When an adult is around, I have to leave the environment just because he's an adult. No, it is not supposed to be so. No, it is not supposed to be so. But now let's come around skills, let's come to traits, let's come to ability, because that's where career is all about. Career. What exactly is career? In my own word, career is the summation of what you do on your profession or what you do in a job from when you get on a job to when you retire. When you start, that starting in our own context is when you graduate from the higher institution until retirement. So the summation of all that you do, the summation of all the jobs you do is career. Now, it is important to get it right because let's use 20 or we are in Nigeria. The average graduate, the average age of the Nigerian graduate is about 24. So let's peg it at 24. And the retirement age for Nigerians is 65. So from age 24 to 65, that's about 41 years. Now, why must you must be very careful about what you do for 41 years of your life because that that's huge. 41 is not a joke.
Very long time.
Exactly. It's not a joke. So since it is not a joke, you want to be very careful. More so, not just about the number of years, not just about the length of the duration, but because your earnings, your income ability, your earning ability is tied to what you do in those 41 years. So it's not just in the length of the time, your earning ability. Don't also forget, the next thing is that in those times, you are going to have more responsibilities. Within 0 to 24, you were depending on your parents. You were probably most persons were depending on their parents or on their loved ones or those who were taking care of them. But you know what? As soon as you graduate, you're on your own.
Who are you?
you, you know, when you're on campus, when we were on campus, when your siblings, especially if you have younger siblings or if you have cousins or nephews and all of that, they can say, "Oh, Uncle Mordecai, can you please send me airtime?" Yeah, because they know that you're on campus, you can send them airtime. But some people already started sending money while they were on campus, no problem. But immediately you leave the four walls of the institution, it's no longer airtime. It's not send us money because they'll be sending you account number and you can't be sending airtime to an account number. So your earning ability is important. You are going to be having more responsibilities, more persons depending on your income. So it's not just you. Whether you are male or you are female, you are going to be having a spouse. I don't know when you decide to get married. At whatever age you decide to get married, you are going to have a spouse. And if you are going to have a spouse, you are going to have children. Don't forget, we are still in Africa. Your family, I mean, the family that gave birth to you, your spouse's family, they are also yours to take care of. They have become your responsibility. That's two. Two families depending on you and your spouse. Your own family, that's your own children. Your own children. Oh. That's another family. Three families depending on one, on you and your spouse. And that's going to run for 40. You are going to train your children. Don't forget that until they finish higher institution, they are still your responsibilities. So for them, your own children, you have 20 plus years to take care of them. So for that reason, you have to get your career right. because of number one, the length of time dedicated to it. Number two, because of your income, your earning ability, and in case you still didn't get it, because of the number of responsibilities that will be attached to you, your parents. They have invested in you. Some people went to the best of private institutions. Some people went to, the things your family suffered, your parents especially. You want to give back to them. They deserve it. Your parents, your spouse too, our home parent. You want to give back to them because they invested into the life of your spouse. And don't forget, we are in Africa. When we say family, it's not just their parents. Everybody is your family, your cousin, nephew, niece, siblings. The number of responsibilities depending on you is the third thing why you must get your career right. So now that I've shown you why you should listen to me, why you should pay attention to all that I'm saying, why you should take your career seriously. Now, let me now tell you why you need to get it right and the factors you need to consider in attempting to get it right. In fact, it's not a trial, it's not an attempt. That is what you need to getting it right. Shortly before I tell you the three factors that are considered in choosing the right career path, I want to remind you of the story of Ben Carson. How many of us can relate to the story of Ben Carson? Ben Carson, that very famous neurosurgeon that separated two Siamese twins, and of course he has gone ahead to do amazing surgeries. I will never forget the year he did that because that was 1993 when he separated the first Siamese twins. Now, for those who don't know what Siamese twins is, or you don't know who Ben Carson is, please, I implore you, I just go beg you, go and find his books. Gifted Hands, Think Big, Gifted Hands, Think Big, The Big Picture, The
Yes.
Big Picture. Those three books, I read them back to back to back as a teenager. The first time I laid my hands on his books, I was age 15. Gifted Hands, I read the book like no man's business. I was like, wow. When I saw the story was phenomenal. It was mind blowing. So you mean a man can change his life in no time like this? Look at what I read. I read the next book. I read Michael. You need to go and read a whole lot more, not just about the separation, not about the surgery, about about Ben Carson himself. But now let me tell you one phenomenal thing about choice of career. Why I mentioned Ben Carson. In reading all of the books that I read, there was one thing that stood out for me. I have not forgotten since age 15 when I read it, and I still will not forget. When I was making the research, I'm going to share with you very very soon. I remembered that stuff about Ben Carson. One of the gifts Ben Carson said he has is hand-to-eye coordination. Anybody who has read that book will remember hand-eye coordination. He said this is one of the gifts, natural gifts he has that gave him an edge in surgery. Aside the many things that the story talked about, hand-eye coordination. After this conversation, you can check it out on Google, or maybe if you have a separate device, you can check it out under eye coordination. It means you can use your hand and your eye simultaneously and independently. Let me give you an example. It means that there's seamless flow. It's like his hand and eye has the same brain and they are working at the same speed and light. Hand-eye coordination. Now, at that time, I was reading the book. Of course, I was still very young. I was a teenager. I don't know what that means. But now I'm a career coach. And in trying to make the research, because now let me tell you why I made the research I made. I've been I've been asking myself several questions. Why are we facing the level of unemployment we face in Nigeria? I've asked myself a series of questions. I've conducted several researches. Several. I mean, I'm not joking. In fact, my final year project in the higher institution was on the unemployment in Nigeria. I've been so fascinated about getting it right in Nigeria as to employment. One of the things I found out, as much as we blame the government, no, the government is not to be blamed. No, no, I'm not saying they don't have their share of the blame. They do have their share of the blame. But no, there are more people to be blamed than we know. Let me tell you one of those persons. One of those persons is our parents. Our parents. I am not saying all parents, but if you grew up in a home where your parent told you what to study, or where your parent programmed you to study what you studied, if you have such parents, I respect them, I honor them, I'm sincere. My father wanted me to study medicine. Me. As he was saying it, I knew that it's not me. It's not me. Me that I cringe at the sight of blood. Like when I see blood, I cringe. I mean, no, I'm not talking about animals. I mean humans. When I'm traveling on the highway and I see any sight of accident, I am the only person in that bus that will not peep through the window to look at what happened, because I can't bear the sight. It's not just accidental. When when they have health defects, when they are sick, and the sickness is very serious, I will be crying for the person. Is it me that will now go and study medicine? I finished from secondary school 2008. He said I should go and fill jam form medicine. I did not answer him. That was the first time I disobeyed my father. And this was the reason. I told him I cannot do medicine. He said no. I reported him to my pastor. That sir, he said I should study medicine. I cannot do it too. My pastor begged him. He did not answer. All the people that can talk to my daddy, he did not agree. Okay, since you will not follow me to go and buy the jam form, I will put what I want. I put engineering so that it will peace at least maybe his body will be at rest. Even though I didn't like the engineering, but sir, let me put something. My father did not agree. But long story short, I didn't study medicine. But just imagine how many people have gone to study medicine that are not practicing medicine. Not just medicine, how many people have gone to study courses? In case you don't know, with all respect, those persons, you are a cause of what Nigeria is facing. Do you know why? The number of in an advanced country, the university has a relationship with the labor market. So when they are saying we need so number of people in so departments, that number was determined by the labor market, by the population of the country size. And they say, okay, we have 100,000, let's use we have 1 million new babies in the year 500,000 new babies between January 1st and now. So to cater for these 500,000 new citizens, we need so number of people to take care of, because we have the number of people who have died in January they consider the mortality rate and the natality rate, because the death rate showed that a certain number of professionals have left the job scene. They need to be replaced by new people. And it is the university that trained these people. So now you have been trained to go and replace these people that died. And now you got the certificate. You have been trained. You have the certificate. You have the knowledge, and you did not go there. Imagine you were trained to be a doctor, and the hospitals are waiting for you. You didn't come because you no longer like medicine, because you want to go and pursue accountancy that you really wanted to have studied. So you are not just affecting yourself. You didn't just waste time. You didn't just waste resources. You're also wasting people who are upon you. Do you see why we are suffering the shortage of professionals in every field in Nigeria? From medicine to accounting to engineers to teachers to this to that to that. Is not because we don't have people who are trained. It's because some people had self-discovery at a later time. It was too late, so the only thing they could do was to abandon the course. I had a case of somebody, he studied that course and went to present the degree to his parents. And said, Shebi, you say this is what I should go and study. Take, I have studied it. I want to go and pursue my own life. Meanwhile, a certain set of people were waiting for him. Now, what am I trying to say? Self-discovery, you're getting it right career-wise is not just for you. It's not just for your family. It is for those people who are waiting on the manifestation of your purpose. The manifestation of your... Imagine if Ben Carson was not a neurosurgeon. Now, imagine how those Siamese twins should have grown up. Just imagine. Just imagine your medical doctor, the doctor taking care of you did not study medicine. What if he studied banking and finance? Or maybe he studied aviation because his parents wanted him to be a doctor. That's a problem we have in Nigeria. I don't know if it has reduced, but I know that parents are still trying to influence their children to study particular courses because of money reasons, for economic reasons. This course is more influential, that they make more money. Just as you said, engineering, no. Every course of mountain, every course that is studied, make money. It's not the flam, it's not tech. Right now, everybody is saying go and study tech, go and tech. Yes, I know there is money in tech, but there's money in accounting, there's money in teaching, there is money in health, there's money everywhere, there is money in business management. There is money everywhere. Don't let anybody program you. Don't let anybody, and it may not be your parents directly opening your mouth to tell you. But for example, look at Mr. Mordecai's case. I'm not sure, you didn't tell us that it was your parent that told you to go and study engineering.
No.
But whether you agree or not, you were programmed to study engineering.
Yes, sure.
Do you know why? Because
Why?
the people you had in your... Because the people you look up to, the closest people you look up to, with the highest amount of, with the highest level of income ability, were engineers. What if your family was surrounded by doctors? What if they were surrounded by coaches? What if they were surrounded by other people from profession? Would you have studied engineering? What if you had somebody like John C. Maxwell as a friend of your family?
I have gone for that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Some programming are not, your parent did not tell you. No, some programmings are not direct. Some of them are indirect. Some of them are very subtle. For example, my father was a teacher. All my father's closest friends were teachers. We didn't have a doctor. I don't know any doctor except my aunt who works in the general hospital as a lab technician. The only time we go, she's the only one I know. We didn't have anybody in our vision. We didn't have. Look at the average Nigerian family. Most times, the kids revolve around either the course that their parents study or the people in their family, or which is the final one, they become a victim of jam. Oh, no, sorry, before jam. No, sorry, before I mention jam, they become a victim of their teacher's suggestion.
Hmm.
Ah, you are very good at mathematics. Why don't you go and study engineering? Now, so that's how we started. Wow, you are very good at English. Why don't you go and study mass communication? While that, while those things they are saying are true, they are not entirely true. Now, don't forget, I have mentioned things that make people choose the wrong courses, why people go on the wrong direction. Number one, parents, either by direct programming, family and friends, indirect programming. Number three, teachers, the people who are involved on your education, whether it is proprietor or teachers or whoever, they have it. Will, sir, am I saying the truth about teachers?
Yes, sure, sure.
Yeah. The fourth one is JAMB. I mean UTME, as we now call them now, and maybe the institutions. And I applied for computer science. They gave me agriculture and something something. I applied for this. They gave me that. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, how do we correct? I may not be able to tell you how to correct JAMB because JAMB is a bit bigger than you and I. I may not be able to tell you what to say to your teacher because you left your teachers behind. You are for okay, maybe some people are still in secondary school and you are listening to me. Maybe some concerned parents will listen to me and play this thing for their children. Please listen to me. Number one, don't program your children to study anything. Look at their natural abilities. Expose your children to people from different careers, which is one of the beautiful things schools are beginning to do now. When we have career days, they bring people
Hmm.
from different professions to let your kids know that there are so many professions that exist. We have doctors, we have engineers, we have many beautiful things. Now, what about your now teachers, school managers should beginning to tell teachers not to make a conclusion of what a child to study because of his or her performance. Because of his or her performance. You remember the story of this phenomenal scientist that was said of him that he was too dull to know anything new. I can't remember. His name just flew off my head right now. One of the greatest scientists we ever have. We were told that he was too dull to know anything new.
About
That
history.
is not true. Exactly. Thank you very much for that. That was a teacher making a conclusion on a child because of his performance. That's nonsense. And that's exactly what some teachers do. You are very sound at mathematics. Go and study this. Now, now I have said all of that to say this. Don't even let jam dictate what your children should study. If you have your way with your parents, if jam gave you this and you studied this, if you have your way with your parents, don't study that thing they gave you, except you have made research and you have realized that, okay, by my choice, let me go and do it. By your choice, so give your best shot to convince your parents. Oh, network. Okay, you're back. Okay, now give
Yes.
it your best shot to convince your parents. But now, if you are already a victim of such, do we choose our How do we
Christopher,
choose the right thing? Yes, I can hear you.
the network is keeping a bit. Okay. Okay, now.
Yes, I okay. Okay, so I'm saying that how then do you choose? How do you determine what's the right thing to study? Number one, check your abilities. Your natural abilities. When I say abilities, it's not just your skills, oh, but your skills are also included. Abilities is more encompassing, and one of the things that is under abilities is your skills, but that's not the only thing. But now, let's your abilities. Number one, your abilities. Number two, your interest. What some people say passion. Some people call it passion. Some people say, I love this thing. I am Passion is also under interest. I am not using the normal English grammar. I'm not using the normal English context. I'm not using the dictionary definition for these two words now. And you hear some people say, I have passion for. Really, passion is not enough. The third thing is that your personality. These are the three important things to consider what you should study or the career you should choose. Your abilities, your interest, and your personality. Now let me say this because it is important, very important to say. These three things must be in the right proportion. What you should study is not dependent on your gender. Your career path is not dependent on your age or your religion. Your career path is not dependent on I want to make money. Every profession in this world, there is money. There is money. Let's tell ourselves the truth. There is money. The only thing you don't know is that you have not been exposed to the people that have the money. That's just it. Or maybe media, maybe traditional media or social media is showing you a, a disproportionate reality. It's showing you that teachers are poor and entertainers are rich. It's showing you that, and I'm using teachers because that's a very relatable one. Everybody believes that. I don't know. Everybody must have had a teacher's reward is in heaven.
How about it?
It's a lie. It's a lie. Oh. Is the teachers you are exposed to that their rewards are in heaven? The teachers that are teaching in what's the name of this school? American Turkish. I can't remember the name of this school. This school that I can't remember the name of the school, but best schools in Nigeria. The best schools in Nigeria. Teachers are teaching there. Just imagine how much they are earning. They are not any. They are not any 500,000. Is the realities that you are exposed to that makes you think some professions are poor, some are rich? No. Begin to expose your mind. Parents, if you are listening to me, begin to expose the minds of your children and even you too. Begin to expose your mind to the realities in this world. No profession is poor. No. So don't say, this one is. I don't know for the Christians listening to me. No, I'm not trying to bring down any religion, but of course, this is what I believe, and it also affects all that I do. The Bible says, God will bless the works of your hands. God did not say, I will bless your tech skills. So that's why it's only people that are in tech that are making money. He did not say, I will bless your UI UX design skills. He said, he will bless the works of your hands. Whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Psalms chapter 1. Whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. If you want to be a teacher, God is saying, whatsoever you do, you will prosper. Whatsoever you do. So begin to think the way God is thinking. Begin to think. Don't be thinking low. Don't be thinking poor. And now be programming your children. No, 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 no. They have natural abilities. The natural abilities is given to them for a particular cause. Natural abilities. I don't have time to talk about it, but we have 8 types of intelligences. 8 types of intelligences. We have spatial intelligence. We have mathematical intelligence. We have musical intelligence. We have kinestic intelligence. We have 8 types. If you consider the 8 types of intelligence we have, interpersonal intelligence, when you consider the 8 types of intelligence we have, you will realize that no child is dull. Contrary to what your teachers are saying to your kids, contrary to what you believe about your already told you some years ago. No one, which includes you, no one, which includes your spouse, no one is dull. Some people are even manifesting in more than one type of intelligence. Some people this is why I said being good at math is not enough to make you an engineer. Do you know why? For you to be a good engineer, you have to have spatial intelligence. You have to be good at spatial intelligence. People who are naturally drawn towards fashion design or any design of anything, whether it is building designs, construction design, creative design, designs of any sort, they have spatial intelligence. People are driven to music, musical intelligence, and a whole lot of things. Now I've talked about that's ability. And of course, I told you intelligence and skills. So it's not just that you have the intelligence. What skill have you invested in that direction? So it takes a conscious effort to be skilled in that direction. God bless you. Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence. That's it. That's it. The 8 types of intelligence. Now let's talk about interest. Interest, I said, is beyond passion. Is way beyond passion. I love to do this. I am passionate. That's interesting. We are taking the passion into cognizance, but that's not the only thing. Because what you like to do changes with time. It even changes with your exposure. You think you like bread and beans, Abi? Wait until you have millions of money entering your account. What you like is funded by your exposure. When you get exposed to bigger things, to superior things, what you like will change. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not just passion. It's not just passion. And I'm passionate about. I've had some people say, "Why do you want to do this?" They say, "I'm passionate about impacting lives." Really? Everybody's impacting lives. So teachers are impacting lives. Doctors are impacting lives. Every one of us are impacting lives. That's why people pay for what we do, because we're impacting lives. So I'm passionate. That's very vague. Tell us what you want. What are you passionate about? So that's it about passion. Get it right. What kind of work environment do you like? Interest is all about. What kind of job? What flair? Based on let me use myself as an example. No matter the motivation you give me, I can't work in a banking hall. In the banking hall, no. Let me tell you the simple answer. I don't like to work in in any environment that we are plenty. You know the banking now. Nobody, no office is segregated. All of us are working. So once somebody will talk, it will distract the other person. No, I'm not. I can't. I will lose focus. I can't. No, I can't be my best in that kind of environment. That's my work environment. It's not like I like to be solitary, but no, I'm a creative person. I like to be in my own space. And then I'll now take out time to come and feed on what the public have. Do you understand? That's interest. It's not just about your passion. What kind of work environment do you want? And all of that. Now, the last thing, of course, I didn't really go deep into it. These are the plenty things
Yeah.
that there are so many things to talk about. And then your personality. Your personality is not just your temperament. Don't get it wrong. It's not just your temperament, extroversion, introversion, even though it is part of it, but it's just 2 out of 8. It's just 2 out of 8. Your personality is beyond your temperament, but then your temperament is also considered. These 3 things in the right proportion, if you get it right, it will give you an idea. It will give you a very limited choices of the career path you should choose. A very limited choice. Thank you very much, Mr. Mordecai, for bringing me
Wow.
on. This has come
Thank
to
you
the
very
end of
much.
it.
Wow.
I'm open to
Thank you very much.
questions.
Like, yes, like I was wow. I learned so much. Like, especially the part about your research that you did about, that you were talking about how they would know the numbers of children that was giving birth to, and then the
Mhm.
job that they will do and stuff like that. I've never had something like that before, so I'm really blessed by your talk. But I have one question which most young people used to ask me. Okay, and it's
Okay, sir.
about if, for example, if there is a young individual that have many talents, okay, that are multi-talented,
Mhm.
that are multi-talented.
Yes.
So, like for example, me, I'm good with writing, I'm good with thinking, I'm good with planning, I'm good with organizing, I'm good with so a lot of things. So when they are saying choose what you are interested in or choose your natural abilities, I was usually confused. And I've seen young people too that will come to me and say, I can do many things. Which one should I do? Which one should I do? So for such individual that is listening to this, what can you advise them that actually what should they do? They can sing, they can do this, they can think, they can talk, they can speak, they can train. What should they do?
Of course. Now, this is it. Remember, I said, let me start from where I stopped. When you consider your ability, your interest, your personality, it's not going to give you one answer. It's not going to
Okay.
show you that the only thing you can do is to teach. Oh, the only no. It's going to limit your choices. You are not going to have the 562 things you can do. Some people can say they can even sing, some people can write, some people can draw, some people can paint, some people can do they can do like by the time you x-ray your career in the lens of these 3 things, you will have less than 20 things to do. That's even if it's up to 10. That's if it is up to 10. So now another thing these people should do is that how how interested are you if we give you money and time? How interested are you to invest in those skills? If we ask them the true question and the way they should be asked, you will see that by themselves, they'll know that I just like to sing in the bathroom. I cannot sing and go, I cannot go to studio. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I just like to sing. I know. I just like to write. It's not like I want to really write any book. They will start limiting it by themselves when you tell them that okay, I'm going to make this amount of money available. It's just sometimes they will choose options they should not do. Some people will say, no, let me go and use it to invest in my fashion business. Meanwhile, That person is not even supposed to consider fashion. No. That person is investing towards his skill. Maybe because the person is already learning it. Which, when you x-ray the three things, fashion may not be in the options. Or maybe the person just is interested. It's just interest too. It's nothing more. It's just interest in fashion. Person will not say, I'm choosing it. No, sometimes their answers are not correct. But of course, as coaches, we ask them a whole lot of questions. We expose them to several questions that by the time you are done, when they see the report of their self-analysis, they will know what they should be doing and what they should not be doing, which is very
Wow.
important. In teaching this, one of the, I said we are going to be doing campus stuff. One of the things I'm also going to be exploring by the second half of the year is visiting secondary schools. I am not just talking
Mm.
to students. No, I'm not talking to students. I'm talking to their parents.
Wow.
What the task is to attend Parent Teachers Association. So you will sit down with your child. The two of you will be listening to some of the things I just shared. So that when your child begins to manifest certain things, you will take consciousness that, okay. For me, while I was growing up, my dad was a mathematics teacher. So I was programmed to like mathematics. In fact, by DNA, I like mathematics. By DNA, and again by programming. From age 5, from age 6, my father would give me 100 questions and ask me to solve them in an hour. As I was gradually increasing in age, my father was reducing the duration from 1 hour to 55 minutes, from 55 minutes to 52 minutes, like that, like that, like that, like that. As I was getting at, of course, if you are doing that every Saturday, what do you think will happen to the brain of the child? By DNA, he has made me like mathematics. By programming, he made me analytical. So, like, for me I have to be very fast at thinking so that I can be able to solve all the 100 questions he has given me. That's programming. Of course, I went to their institution to study mathematics. But you and I know, just like you too, I'm using one of the things I learned from that, because I didn't, of course, since you studied that thing, you can't entirely throw it away. There is a part of you that has been affected. So whether you like it or not, sir, Mr. Mordecai, there is a part of, if you look at all the things you studied, there is a part of engineering in what you do today. Maybe it is in your analysis or whatever. Look at Faust that we mentioned. He studied law, but he's also into human rights.
Mm. Mm. Yes,
If
yes,
you look
yes.
at the kinds of songs he is singing, I mean, it's not, you will see traces of somebody who is intelligent and has an understanding of human rights in his songs. There's one particular song he sang, I really cannot remember. I really, really cannot remember. But what am I trying to say? If you are, what I just said is for those who studied what they wish they didn't study. Don't worry, you can transfer your knowledge, transfer your skill into what you really, really want. Thank you very much. I hope I've answered your
Yeah,
question.
wow. Great answer. Great answer. I was about asking a question, but you already answered it. I was about asking about, for example, if you're already studying a course that you're not interested in, maybe your parent that told you to study it, or you found out yourself, discovered yourself now, and you're no longer interested in the course. So I get the part about
Mm,
you can still find a way to, like, what you are learning now. You can still find a way to link to what you have discovered about yourself and work towards it, because I
yeah.
receive questions like that too. So I want to really thank you for this great insight you've shared this evening. Natural abilities, check your interests, check your personalities, and I'm sure everyone listening to this or anybody that will be watching the replay, I'm sure you can just take a jotter, your pen, and just or talk to your parents or do something to find out those things you are naturally inclined to, your personality, your interest, and then list out those courses or careers that you think is related to all those things and go like research and study about that. I'm sure you've learned something this evening. Like I've learned a lot personally. I've learned a lot. So I want to thank. Can you just thank? Okay, if you are watching this the replay later, I want to just thank him. He's coming back to check them. Okay, I want to thank you, sir, for honoring our invitation. I do not take this for granted. I really appreciate you. Really shed light. You have become a beacon of hope to people that are hopeless about the choice of career they are about to go for. But thank you very much, sir. You are touching
You're
lives
welcome,
too,
sir.
and I really
You're welcome,
appreciate
sir.
this. So, all right. So
You're
this will
welcome,
be the
sir.
end of. Okay, this will be the end of tonight's session. And sir, if you have a final word for anybody listening, can you just give a final word for anybody listening? A final word.
Okay, my final word is that it is not too late to get it right. It is never too late to get it right. Whether you realize that no, I shouldn't be studying this course, maybe because you're an undergraduate, or maybe you have already graduated and you said, "How I wish you didn't study the course." What I want you to know that it's never too late to get it right. While you may not be able to return to the university to get to start all over again, in some cases, it's only in a very few cases that you have to go to the institution, but not in all cases. Even in those cases, I think you should. I've even seen cases of people who did not go and still excelled. Medicine to be precise. Medicine to be precise. I've seen two examples of people who wished they would have gone back. They didn't go back. They are still in the medical field, but not as practicing doctors. But they are very you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying that you may not be able to go to the higher institution to start all over again, but you can start investing in the direction you really want to go into. Maybe by taking short courses, maybe by taking professional courses and all that. There is something you can do.
Well, you alluded, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like you, the way you spoke, you are a master in this area, and I'm really inspired again. Once again, thank you very much.
You're welcome,
God bless
sir.
you. More
You're
insight and
welcome,
more
sir.
knowledge.
Amen.
More knowledge in Jesus' name. All
Man,
right, so we've come to the
amen.
end of tonight's session. We've come to the end of tonight's session, and we are still on the journey of self-discovery for the first 3 months of this year. And next month we'll be talking about that topic as related to self-discovery. And I'm sure you should not miss this. And for those watching this replay, kindly drop anything you learned from this session. And as you do that, God will keep helping each and every one of us in Jesus' name. So thank you all. Thank you, sir. And we'll see you on the other side. Okay. Good night. Bye bye.
Yes, sir. Good night,
All
sir.
right.